Okay, hello everyone. Today we are going to be making a little safe room. Let's start with the floor. Also get rid of this grid. All right, let's see. Let's start with 3x3. Not sure if that'll be big enough, but we'll see how it goes. Let's get a wall. think I have a mattress for this. Yeah. Make this bed a little bigger. Not that big. Hi, Stevie. Welcome. How are you doing? Well, it's going pretty well. I'm actually just kind of recreating this. This is an asset that I made for the marketplace, and I've kind of already made this room, or I have already made this room, but I just wanted to recreate it just to put it up on YouTube, just to show any potential buyers kind of what it looks like as I'm going through it. So I don't have my camera on, so I can honestly get just like a clean video of this just to throw it up on YouTube. And then I'll probably make one to speed up and make that a separate video. Yeah, I'll make a time lapse out of it. I've had some success. I have 4 assets on the marketplace now. The ones that I've had the most success with have been a set of locks and keys that I made, and also just like a series of pillars and panels and just like stuff that a lot of people would use for interior environments. The one that I had the least success with is the one that I spent the most time on, which was a greenhouse that I made. So that was a little frustrating, but it was all kind of a learning experience. But it's really just been kind of an experiment. I wanted to just see, what kind of options there were, if anyone would buy any of them. And it has been somewhat successful. I think I've made, I don't know, a few $100. Yeah, I think it's a really good option for passive income. Obviously you can't expect to, I mean, for most people anyway, can't expect to make a living off of it. But I do think that there's some good potential there. I think there's a lot that needs to go into market research, trying to figure out, like what is what would be a good asset that maybe is underrepresented on the marketplaces. There's a lot of assets that are very, very oversaturated. And one of the things that I found were like there's not a lot of keys, which I thought was kind of weird. And I think that's why that one is sold pretty well. Let's see. Let's also put this up here. Hi, Steve. Steve and Stevie, welcome. How are you doing, Steve? Steve is a fellow 3D artist who actually helped me with the greenhouse. Okay. I do too. I've really started to enjoy it so much. How are you doing, Steve? Let's see. I have these drawers all combined. Also have separate ones though. But for this purpose, we really just leave them all combined. What skill did I start my indie journey with you with as your main? So the main thing that I started with was literally just downloading Unreal Engine and just playing with it. I didn't really know anything about it, and I thought it was gonna be way more complicated, and like I'd have to be way more like programmer literate to understand how to use it. So when I downloaded it and I started playing with it, I was honestly blown away, like on the first day, with how user-friendly it was and how relatively easy it was to you know, make something that would halfway look nice. And so I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I started learning about blueprints. Did you come from totally unrelated vocation? So I've been a photographer. That's been kind of my day job for the past 13-ish years. So I definitely did have a background in arts, which I think helped a lot. And when I started playing with Unreal Engine, it felt, I think that's what helped it to feel kind of natural to me in a lot of ways, because it was like, oh, this is kind of just like Lightroom, but for 3D. And I mean, it definitely helped with composition and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I really just started playing around with Unreal Engine and just like, you know, downloading assets and just placing them in the level and just making pretty things. And just learning like how to use, you know, just how to use the basics of it. And then I started learning a little bit about blueprints, and I quickly kind of, I wouldn't say I really caught on to it, because I don't really consider myself very good with programming, but I learned enough to realize that, oh, this is this is nothing what I thought it was going to be like. I had no idea that blueprints were a thing, and it really blew me away at how user-friendly they were. And so I started kind of thinking like, I wonder if I could actually make something, you know, like an actual game. And so I challenged myself. This was about 1.5 years ago. I challenged myself to take a month and try and make something. And so I spent like day and night nonstop making this little escape room, this little like bedroom, actually kind of similar to this room, although bigger, but making this escape room where you had to solve some puzzles. And on like day 3, I was like, this is what I want to do for a living. And so really ever since then, I've kind of just been hooked, and just wanting to learn everything that I can about Unreal Engine and game design and game development and all of that fun stuff. Steve, you've been working on some CAD stuff today, other than helping Moss out with setting a stream page, doing some tiny assets because really bored on the weekend. No one was around. Ah, gotcha. You also feel hooked? Yeah. It's so fun, isn't it? So have you made anything, Stevie? Okay. I think we got the basic layout here. Trying to make a very small game. What kind of game do you want to make? Ooh, I love horror games as well. I really love horror games. And I also love space. So what is the goal of the game? Is it like an escape type game? Is there going to be an enemy that you have to run away from and hide, or what are you thinking? A job simulator where you do daily tasks and then things get weirder and weirder around you. More atmospheric, less chasing and jump scares. Ooh, that sounds really cool. I love atmosphere and am not a big fan of jump scares. Steve, Charles and I are going to meet today to go over some stuff. I've got a demo, kind of, but it's very rough. I don't know if it's even ready for testing, but I do have a demo. No, I fixed that bug. Just a bunch of small things, really. I will, Stevie. Would you like to try it? definitely do need to get some feedback. That would be awesome. I'm close to getting it ready for a playtest. I've honestly, biggest thing that's holding me back at the moment is I need to remember how to get it on Steam. Hi, Tuminir. Welcome. Whoa. Let's see. Let's put a shelf over here. All right, let's work on this little desk area. How are you doing, Tuminir? Oops. I could put it on itch, but I mean, Steam has like a playtest thing. I just have to remember how to upload it to Steam. It's just very confusing. I feel like that would be easier for most people. I'm sorry, Tuminir. I'm very proud of my books that I made. It's my first time trying to make a book. I made 6 different ones. and came up with silly names like Whispers in the Abyss. Yeah, I wrote 6 books just for this. Yeah, they were all done with I guess alphas. I don't know. I forget what they're called, but yeah, I just painted in the lines and then added the text. It was about a week's worth of work. It honestly wasn't too crazy. I feel like I'm getting pretty good at going faster with this kind of stuff. Let's see. But hopefully I'll get some sales from selling this, and it'll be worth it. Yeah, there's about, I think, 50 or so unique meshes. Okay, let's see. proud of this little pill bottle that I made. I think it's really cool. Vita Boost. Hard to see. Oops. Somewhere on here, I can't remember where I put it, but I put a 451. I don't remember where it is, though. Oh, I think I put it on the pill. I made this little pill, too. Which I don't even know if you can see it. Oh, yeah, there it is. You have to make it huge, but it says HAL 451. Just a little Easter egg. Okay, let's do something like this. And then I have a bottle, too, that I'm really proud of. Let's see. This guy. Little antidote bottle. Okay. Let's see. Actually swap these. Well, my goal was to release the game last year, but that didn't work out. I don't know. I really, really, really need to release it soon. But it seems like it just keeps taking longer and longer and longer than I thought it would take. I wish I could say I'm at the last 10%, but I don't think I am. I've tried to cut back on a lot of the scope that I had originally planned, which I didn't even think that, like, what I originally planned was that much. But it's just so hard. Like, every little thing that you think that, you know, will be like an easy thing to add turns into some crazy complex thing that just takes way too long. It's not really even like one thing. It's just like I'll give you a good example. Like, I've had so much trouble with just a door. Like, just getting doors to work the right way. And like, okay, a door, you know, it's very simple to make a door that works. But then you have to think about like how this door interacts with other things. And then you have to think about how you interact with the door. And then you have to think about like, okay, I want this door to be able to be locked. And then you have to think about, okay, that means that I have to have keys. And then I have to have an inventory to store those keys. And then I have to figure out like, okay, now if I saved the game, then I have to figure out how to save the variable for that door being open, locked, unlocked, etc. And then I wanted to do, this is another good example. Like, I wanted to do what I thought was going to be a very simple thing where I would just have, like, when you go to interact with the door, I wanted to have it shown, I wanted to have the key shown going into the keyhole and turning, and then, you know, like the door handle turning and opening the door. I was like, okay, that shouldn't be too hard. And it wasn't really that hard to implement on one door. But then you have other doors that have different meshes, which means that you have to like change all of the variables to fit those meshes. And then when you do that, that like breaks other things. And it's just like, So many little things that you would think would be simple just turn out to be such a complex thing. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going so far to have like, a hand actually reaching out and turning the lock or anything like that. I just wanted to show a key going into the keyhole, turning, and then the door opening. And that has just turned out to be like just a nightmare to get working. And I've still got a bug. It happens occasionally where like you insert the key, or the key is shown inserting, and like it doesn't turn right. It should just turn like 180 and then stop and then turn 180 again to do like a full 360. But for some reason it'll turn like, sometimes it'll turn like 45 degrees, and then it'll turn like 72 degrees in the completely different axis or something, and I have no idea why. It's wild. Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff that I've learned that I would have done differently had I known. But there's just no real way on your first game, or the first time you make something, there's really no way to know these kind of things that are gonna pop up like that. So I mean, I don't beat myself up too much for it, but it is just really frustrating. Because it's like, I just want to build the game, but I just have to keep fixing bugs that I thought was fixed, and then they break again. But I mean, one of the biggest things that I would have done differently is just not make such a complicated game. I mean, it sounds easy, but I started with like an asset that had like a pre-made game, sort of, or was kind of like a template to start off of, which I was like, okay, I'll just build off of this, and all of the stuff is already implemented, so it'll be super easy. And it would be easy if I had used like everything in that asset and not changed anything. But the problem is, if you want to change like one little thing, then that just makes so many other things so much more complex. And then there's also just the fact that I don't really know what I'm doing half the time, so whenever I change something, it's like me trying to learn what in the world I'm doing. Which is good in a way, because like I like learning things and I'm glad to be able to learn things, but I also need to finish this game. And the thing is, I mean, you've probably heard this too. I feel like everyone hears this whenever you start to work on a game. Everyone's like, you know, don't make it too big, don't make it too complex. And I just feel like that's so hard to comprehend because you just don't really know what too big or too complex is if you've never made anything. And so, like, hindsight being 2020 is great, of course. I mean, going back, I would have realized that what I thought was going to be a fairly simple game is just way too complex. And I really, really, really should have kept it like way more simplistic. Whoa. You can you can try one demo that I made. For some reason, I started working on 2 games. But if you look up on Steam, there's a game called The Nightmare Escape. That's one of my games. And I have a demo for that. It is a bit buggy, but it is still available. So you can try that one out if you want to. And then House of Lies is the one that I'm trying to finish. As soon as I finish that one, then I'm going back to Nightmare Escape. You'll have to let me know what you think. I think in a lot of ways, The Nightmare Escape is a game that I think has way more potential. House of Lies is really just Resident Evil. And Nightmare Escape is a little bit more of an original idea. What happened was so the very first thing that I made was this escape room type thing. And I decided to try and turn that into a full game. That's what House of Lies just turned into. And Then a few months into that, I was like, this is getting way too complex. I'm going to try and make something way simpler. And for some reason, I thought it would be way simpler to make a game called The Nightmare Escape, which is going to be 4 games in one. I don't know what I was thinking. But the idea with The Nightmare Escape is you wake up and you're stuck in a nightmare, and you play through like 4 small little games or nightmares and try to escape them, escape your nightmare. But of course, that turned out to be like way more complicated than I thought it would be. Which again, I don't know how I didn't think like, let's just make a new game that is going to be 4 small games. I don't know how I didn't think that that was going to be somehow easier. But again, I think Nightmare Escape is a much more interesting idea for a game. And I am very excited about returning to it. But I have to just stick with one thing and finish one thing. So I feel like I have a really good plan for House of Lies, and so that's why I'm sticking with that. If House of Lies has puzzles and enemies, that's already too much. And an inventory system, yep. It has all of that. Well, fortunately, the save system that I use was already built into the asset that I started with. So I have kind of a starting point with that. But yeah, save systems are really complex. I think the thing I would say is just think think about everything that you are going to potentially need to save, like as you're building things, and just keep in mind that, like, with a door, like every time the state of that door changes, you need some way to save that state. So just make sure you have variables for all of that stuff. Are you, Stevie, are you going off of, like, are you using a tutorial or anything? Or are you just kind of learning things as you go? Gotcha. Um, Epic themselves, they have some pretty good tutorials, like on the I can't remember what it's called, the learning center or something like that. But they have like some full projects, like of full games that you can literally download and see like how they're doing things. That can be really helpful. Check those out. That looks too similar. Yeah, and some of the sample projects, they literally have like courses that go with them. And they're taught by like the people from Epic themselves. So they're really well done. You can never have too much. The inspiration for this room came from, I don't know if you've played the original Resident Evil, but this is basically just one of the safe rooms from Resident Evil. You played the remake? So you know the safe room where you have to go back to get the antidotes when you when what's his name is poisoned from the snake. This is essentially that room. You just played it last year? Oh man. I love Resident Evil. You have to make custom looping vids for each game you play? Oh. So how do you normally do that? Are you excited for the Silent Hill 2 remake? Yeah, same. Cautiously optimistic. Still video footage from the game itself. Let's see. Yeah, I've thought about trying to do some videos where you just have like a room or an environment or something like that. I really like those videos where it's just like a Victorian bedroom or something in the middle of a thunderstorm, and you just have like a little bit of ambiance with the music and the rain in the background and maybe like a fireplace. I love those videos. You should try that. Yeah, for sure. I've been wanting to do a Silent Hill environment. What's your favorite Silent Hill? Two and three. I have never played 3, and I was actually thinking about maybe playing it this weekend. It's the only one that I haven't played. Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. I don't even know why I said that. I've only played 2 and 4. That's it. I guess I was thinking like out of the main ones, but then I was like, oh wait, no, I haven't played 1. But I've always heard such good things about 3. I really want to try it. So, how do you feel like 1 did it hold up well? So I'm afraid it's not going to hold up well. Like 2 felt like it held up pretty well to me when I played it. But I've seen some of 1 and it definitely looks like it has not aged as well. Yeah. Maybe they'll remake that one. Like, I get why they started with remaking 2, but it is kind of too bad that they didn't just start with the original. Oh, does 1 tie into 3? I probably should watch like a recap of it. Okay. Okay. We're almost done. Are there any other horror games that are coming out soon that you're interested in? Daniel Mullins game. I feel like I should know who that is. Ah, right. I knew that sounded familiar. I'm ashamed to say that I didn't finish Inscription. I didn't really like the card game, and I know everyone was like, "Oh, this is a game that you can play if you've never played a card game or you don't like card games, you can play it and still love it." And I just didn't really like the card game. And I was very intrigued with like all the other stuff that was going on, but it wasn't enough for me to stay interested. You love roguelike deck builders? Yeah, I've never really gotten it. Well, I guess I really like Slay the Spire. I think that's the only one that I've really ever gotten into. I've never been able to get into any other ones, though. They announced Slay the Spire 2, but it's not coming out for a while. I don't think I've heard of any of those. I'd have to check those out. So many great indie horror games. Yeah, it was kind of the same for me. I played a lot of indie games, but I never really looked into particularly indie horror games. Like there were a few I guess I'd played, but I didn't really delve into them like I did when I really started getting into game dev and really started learning just how many there are. It's kind of insane. It's kind of overwhelming. All right, I think we need just a little more to balance this shelf out. Put a bunch of pill bottles in here. Maybe stack some of these too. Okay. I think we are pretty much done. I'm just going to adjust some lights a little bit. I stream. I have a very mixed up schedule right now, but my normal schedule is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Time. I try to always stream on those days, but then I also stream very random streams like this as well. Oh, I'm glad to have you here. It's nice to chat. I know what we need. Dog. Okay. I think we are done. Maybe could use a little bit more light in some of these areas, but I want it to be pretty dark. Dark and moody. Thank you. Had a lot of fun making this environment. All right. Well, I think that will do it for me. Thanks for hanging out, Stevie. It was nice to chat. I am going to take off, and I will be back tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'm going to check out Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's a game that came out a week or two ago that's on Game Pass that looks really interesting. I'll probably check that out tomorrow. Yeah, take care, everyone. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see y'all next time.